Let me ask you this question. If YouTube took their AdSense from 55 to 15, would you continue creating content?
Welcome to the showdown of the century. We've got Sam Seder panicking as Patrick Bet-David goes full MAGA, tearing apart those woke claims like a bulldozer through a house of cards. This debate is pure fire. Patrick Bet-David is dropping truth bombs about the economy, taxes, and how Sam Seder's pie-in-the-sky tax ideas just don't hold up. We're talking fake success, insane 90% tax rates, and real-world examples that shred Sam Seder's arguments to bits. Patrick Bet-David is bringing the heat, and Sam Seder's scrambling to keep up. Let's jump in.
Into the tax policy when we had the greatest, sort of the widest economic expansion shared by more people as a percentage of our population than any other time in this country, which was in the 50s and the 60s. And I would return to the tax rates more or less there. So your top tax rate at that time was 90%, top marginal rate, for every dollar over $470,000 you would earn. So that would be equivalent to around $3 million today. I think we should return to that type of tax.
You want it to go as high as 90% at the top marginal tax rate?
At the top marginal tax rate. So understand, like, that only kicks in with every dollar above $3 million.
I hear you. And
yeah,
I mean, that's the famous Reagan situation where I think it was anything over $200,000 at that point. This might have been in the 40s, that he would only do 2 movies a year because he'd get paid $100,000 per movie, and then he wouldn't even do a third movie because he would only get 10% of the revenue because he's like, fuck it, I'm not doing another movie.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that curb growth?
When Reagan started telling that story, yep. You know who he was working for when he started telling that story, right? He was going around, I think it was for working for GE, trying to convince people not to get Medicare for all. I mean, if Reagan could have gotten 3 movies or 5 movies, he would have done it. He was working with chimps. He would have been happy to do that for his career. Believe me. Believe me.
What's the top marginal tax rate right now? 39%? What is it?
I think it's 37, 39%.
So, I mean, yeah, Patrick Bet-David's killing it with that realtor story. Sam Seder's over here yapping about Reagan and chimps. But Patrick Bet-David's bringing real-life examples, people quitting because taxes got insane. That's the kind of practical insight Sam Seder can't touch.
You live in Brooklyn. So 57.5%. People are like, what the hell is going on here? There was this girl who was a top realtor in the San Fernando Valley area, one of the top realtors. Her picture was on all the benches. Everywhere you would go, you would see her. And she was one of the realtors making very good money. She's making $500,000 a year income, doing good for herself, whatever the number was, $400,000, $500,000. One day, I stopped seeing her pictures on the seats. And I'm at Wood Ranch with my wife, and I said, hey, you're the girl, right? She says, yeah, I am. She's with her husband and her 2 kids. I said, what happened? We haven't seen you lately. She says, it's so funny you ask. My husband and I made a decision that the moment taxes got so high, it was more important for me to be stay home. It wasn't worth me working to pay this much in taxes. So there's a part of what he's saying. Yeah, whether he's going to do the movies with chimps and all that stuff. But there's a part of it that kind of incentive needs to be there.
America would not have suffered by the lack of Ronald Reagan movies. And I would also argue, I would also argue that, like, I guarantee you there was no less houses that sold because that one particular broker stopped selling houses at a certain point.
So go to it. So right now,
I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. I mean, I think
to raise it to 90%.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think
top line.
What you're talking about is sort of the Laffer curve, actually, right?
Yeah.
You
Laffer.
love the Laffer curve. You're a big fan of it, apparently.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know about you guys, but Patrick Bet-David's got Sam Seder on the ropes here. Sam's trying to twist the Laffer curve into some woke fantasy, but Patrick Bet-David's setting it straight. People stop working when you tax them to death. Yeah, Patrick Bet-David is bringing the facts the Sam Seder can't handle.
I'll tell you what I love about the Laffer curve is that we had a perfect example of, almost like a perfect model of what happens with the Laffer curve, right? Like the Laffer curve argues that the higher the tax rate goes, the less inclined people are going to be to generate income. And then because they're generating less money, there's going to be less tax receipts collected by the government. Art Laffer was Sam Brownback's #1 advisor in Kansas. Do you remember this when Brownback became governor? He basically gave over his entire tax structure to Art Laffer. They had it destroyed the tax base in Kansas. It ended up destroying their entire education system. They had an amazing Kansas university. Brownback gets plucked out of Kansas and literally sent to be ambassador to Ether. You know what? They made him ambassador to faith because they didn't want this guy around at all. The Republican-controlled Kansas legislature raised taxes back up because it had destroyed their tax receipts. The theory may sound good, but it doesn't work in practice.
So are you on YouTube and Rumble or just YouTube?
I'm on YouTube. I think we put it on Rumble. I think we're also on Twitch. And all
over the place. Okay, so let me ask you this question. If YouTube took their AdSense from 55 to 15, would you continue creating content?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
You'd continue creating content?
I wasn't doing YouTube for a long time.
How do you make a living today?
I have membership. That people pay. I get ad revenue from different places.
Okay, so let's just say the membership that you get from Patreon or whoever it is, okay? What if their fees went from them keeping 5% to 60% to 90%? Would you continue creating content?
I mean, I would probably have to cut back if there was that.
Exactly.
Well, but that's only because it's such a big change.
No, because that's the part about incentive, Sam. So your audience.
Patrick Bet-David's just exposing Sam Seder's weak spot here. Sam's fumbling over his own business model, admitting he'd cut back if fees spiked. Patrick Bet-David's showing how these crazy tax ideas kill jobs and growth. Sam Seder's got no comeback for that.
And so your audience gets to enjoy you.
I'm not saying we'll cut the revenue for these businesses. I'm saying that the amount of
you
money...
have no choice, though, because you're paying these guys. You need the revenue.
No. I'm not suggesting we cut revenue for businesses. What I am suggesting is after that revenue comes in and we divvy up and I have my net profits, then my taxes would go up. But I will say this, like if, let's say, the taxes went up on me personally, would I stop going on YouTube? No.
So would you be able to scale it how many employees you got working for you right now?
I'm not talking about cutting revenue,
I get that. How many employees are you working for you right now?
We have payroll, I think, like 6 or 7
Okay,
people.
You got 6 or... That's a small business you got there, right?
Sure.
6 or 7 people. Okay. If all of a sudden... AdSense went up. The fees for your Patreon, I don't want to offend you when I say Patreon. I don't know who you use. Whoever you use that's got your membership stuff that you got.
We use Fans FM.
Okay, there you go. That's a shout out to them. So Fans FM,
Right
Fans FM?
Fans.fm. It's actually a great service.
Okay, fantastic. So if they raise
They take less than Patreon.
If they take 50% all of a sudden, and they say YouTube says AdSense goes to 15%, would you be able to employ those 6 people?
No, if my well, I don't know, but probably
maybe that's because you're rich.
No, probably not. But I'm not suggesting that we cut revenue for businesses. I'm suggesting that what is left over from revenue, if it's over $3 million, that goes into the pocket of the owner of this enterprise, that $300 million and $1 gets taxed
Let's
at
have fun with this.
90 cents.
Let's have fun with this. So here's a question for you. And I kind of know what your answer is.
And I want to be clear on something.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I subscribe to this not because I think that we need the money or that this is going to, be a panacea in terms of like how we would spend this money. But I see in this country a massive problem with wealth inequality and the commensurate political inequality that comes with it. We have wealth inequality in this country like we've never had before.
I don't disagree. So there's not a disagreement there. But the solution is where we're going to disagree. So
all right, folks, what a ride. Patrick Bet-David came in swinging, tearing apart Sam Seder's woke tax nonsense with real-world logic that hits home. From fake economic success to that killer realtor story, Patrick Bet-David showed why his take's the one that makes sense for hardworking Americans. Sam Seder's flailing around with 90% tax rates and Laffer curve excuses, but it's clear who's got the upper hand here. Patrick Bet-David's the champ of this debate, hands down. What do you all think? Did Patrick crush it or what? I personally think he did a great job. Appreciate you for watching. Be sure to check out some of my other videos if you enjoyed this one. Take care.